counsel for the defense, my outstanding team. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I want to thank you so much for your service in this case. Very difficult case. I will never forget any of you. My family won't forget any of you either. Jordan's teammates, his coach, they won't forget any of you. That's who this case is about. That kid right there. It's not a fairy tale. He really was that great. He really did have a 3.5 GPA. He really did want to go to Alabama to play football for them. He really did work out every day. He really did have 1 million friends. He really did have a nickname, Smiley. He was the real deal. He was in the 9th grade. He was 15 years old, and he did not deserve to die on the night of April 29th, 2017. He did not deserve it. He should not be dead. He should be sitting right there beside his brother Kevon, or with his brother Vidal out in Colorado Springs. He shouldn't be in a grave right now like he is. And he put him there. He shot 5 times into the night, and but for the grace of God, those 3 kids right there are dead too. Think about that. It's a miracle. And then you compare this kid with the defendant, who on April the 16th, 2017, after being an offender bender, pulls his sidearm out and points it at 2 women for no reason whatsoever. He points a gun at them for no reason. And then, on that same day, he goes up to his truck and he proudly and defiantly says to the Dallas Police Department sergeant, just to show you, Kevlar helmet, black jacket, rifle, it could have been a lot worse. Was he going to kill them too? And keep on looking at this defendant. Keep on looking at it. It admits that he's got a Facebook post that says, I've never been as good at anything in my life as I am at killing people. Who says that? He does. This is a man who in 2013 was in a courtroom just like this one. He was on the witness stand. And he says in front of a bunch of ladies and gentlemen just like you, I don't remember the fucking question. Can you believe that? This guy is an angry, out of control, walking bomb, a time bomb that went off on April the 29th, 2017. His psychic assessment that he took in 2011 said that the defendant said that he was immune. He had no fear. And keep on thinking about this defendant and all the things that he did. You can take all that into account. Look at his civil lawsuit allegations that he admitted. He called those kids over there gangsters. Said they had guns in the car. Said they were dope dealers. Who does that? These are the sweetest kids in Ball Springs over here. Not gangsters. But he alleged in the civil lawsuit that they were. Think about that too. And think about the actions of that night. Do you remember that the defendant told you guys that he felt sick to his stomach? That once he realized what he'd done, he felt horrible. That's not what he said that night. He lies to his police sergeant, says we were giving them commands. No, he wasn't. He complains to Officer Pedro Gonzalez, the other officer that's down there on Bishop, Officer Chambly. Chambly's being a dick. Does that sound to you like somebody that felt bad about what had happened? Does it? At 8 minutes and 30 seconds on Officer Chambly's dash cam, you'll hear Oliver yelling out, "Follow directions!" Does that sound like somebody that felt bad about what he'd done? Or what he is? Someone that stole Jordan Edwards' life. I've got 1 million police officer friends. I told Matt Seghetti, I told Dave McDermott, I told Rick Dugan, I told Mike Motto, I told all of them. This case here doesn't hurt you guys. It helps you. It helps you because now the public knows they can trust you to do the right thing, unlike what he did. So don't you worry about that. We'll continue to work with police officers. We love them, but not when they do what he did that night. I'm going to go through some evidence here. You see that kid there in the blue sweatshirt? See him? That's Jordan. He doesn't know it, but he's got about 10 seconds to live right there. In the defendant's body cam, you will see that at 11:18 and 28 seconds, he starts to run up that hill. 9 seconds later, he shoots 5 rounds. During those 9 seconds, he had plenty of time to evaluate what was going on and to know that at no time was Officer Gross in danger. How long is 9 seconds, you ask? We'll start now. That's how long 9 seconds is. He had all that time to assess that situation and to know that at no time was Gross in danger. And that's what happened as a result of this. That's poor Jordan. Went from this, possible future president of the United States, to this, because of what you did. Look at that timeline, folks. 11:18:28. Roy Oliver runs to the Impala, and all the shots are fired at 11:18:37. Every day for the last 18 months, I've asked myself, what else can I do? What did I miss? What have I not seen? I went out there yesterday, folks. I haven't missed anything. It was exactly the same as it was the first time I went out there, which was Monday, after poor Jordan was killed on Saturday night. Vidal Allen still can't sleep at night. Feels awful. But are you really going to say that Vidal Allen is responsible for the death of his little brother? Are you going to make him have to live with that for the rest of his life? Got this side-by-side video. You see that there? 11:18:26 seconds. 2 seconds later, Oliver starts his death sprint, going up that hill. I submit to you the evidence shows that by the time he started running, that he had committed into killing somebody out there that night, whatever it took. I've never been so good at anything in my life as I am at killing people. Who says that? Who says that? The defendant does. (11:18:27 seconds). Jordan doesn't know it. He's got 10 seconds to live right there. There's poor Jordan in that blue sweatshirt. There's Gross on the left starting to raise his weapon. That car looks at you like it's trying to hit anybody. He's backing away from him. And then, when they start to go south, he actually goes so far away as to get into the northbound lane. He turns his wheels to the left. Believe me, if Vidal Allen had wanted to run over those police officers that night, he could have done it. There's the crack in the road. If Vidal Allen wanted to hurt those police officers, he would have driven towards them. He didn't do that. Right there is when the car stopped. All 5 of the shots in this case were fired after that car had passed by Tyler Gross. None of those shots could have done anything to help Tyler Gross. None of them. And the last 3 shots, all of which could have killed those kids, and all of which can give you justification for a conviction for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, happened after that car had passed the defendant. Look at that. There's the car over the center lane. Front wheels turning to the left. This is all from Mr. Frederick's presentation. Now you've got Gross at the back of the car, and the first shot still has not been fired. It's not fired until 11/18/37. Still has not been fired. And Gross is behind the car. That's what that means when it says rear passenger side brake light. There's no danger to him. There's just a out of control, trigger happy, dangerous defendant who was looking for a reason to kill. Never been as good at anything in his life. There's your first shot. That skips across the front of the windshield. There's your second shot. That's what killed poor Jordan. Jordan's last 3 words of his life might very well have saved Maximus Everett. One of those other kids in the back, when he said, "Duck, get down," might very well have saved him. Think about that. That brave kid, the last 3 words of his life are to warn his buddies and his brothers, including his best friend, Vidal Allen. Back shot. Car's already past the defendant. He's still shooting. He pivots 45-degree angle and continues to shoot his murderous spree. Look where the defendant is. He's still shooting at that car. How much blood do you want, Oliver? All right. This is what Grant Frederick said. The subject vehicle steered away from Gross and Oliver prior to the shots. Gross moved toward the passenger side of the vehicle prior to the shots. The car didn't go towards him. He went towards the car. Gross was located on the passenger side of the vehicle, the position of the rear right wheel, when he broke the rear passenger window. First shot fired 0.358 seconds after the rear window is broken. Vehicle continued south on Shepherd Lane after the glass break and prior to the shots. Gross was positioned behind the vehicle when the first shots fired. How is that reasonable to be shooting? How? This most unreasonable, craziest thing you've ever seen in your life. Vehicle southbound on Shepherd Lane, mostly in the northbound lane when the shots are fired. And pass Oliver for shots 3, 4, and 5. Now here's your Distinguished Service Cross winner. People keep trying to make fun of his service just because he wasn't a street police officer. Well, he was in the jungles of Vietnam. The defendant used excessive force when he shot and killed Jordan. That's what he said. No properly trained law enforcement officer would have reason to believe that using deadly force was reasonable under the circumstances. Officer Groves said he'd never felt threatened or was in danger of the vehicle hitting him, and that's why he didn't shoot, folks. He knew he didn't need to. And when the defendant said he was trying to hit you, did you hear Tyler Groves agree with him? You didn't. And then Oliver lies to the sergeant. We were both giving them commands. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. And then just because Chamley's down there doing his job, taking a rifle away from him, and quarantining him, he calls him a dick. You remember that. Dr. Hayden said the defendant intended to shoot his weapon as he ran toward the subject vehicle. He made up his mind before he ever got up there. And if he had just taken the time to look to his left, he would have seen that there was no reason to do that. None. That's what Dr. Hayden testified to. Distinguished Service Cross, Purple Heart, Vietnam. He made his decision to shoot even though the vehicle was traveling south on Shepherd Lane and not in a position to run over anybody. Judge, can you get the lights? You know, we see all these other cases involving police shootings, and there's always some reason why the officer shot. Maybe somebody was a shot.
When we started this trial, the state said we weren't going to be able to go into all these other cases. You object, outside the record.
Objection sustained. Go ahead, Mr. Stearns.
But in this case, this innocent kid was not doing anything wrong. Nothing. He deserved the opportunity to go to college. He deserved the opportunity to make Odell Edwards a grandfather. And you took that away from him. You murdered him. And it could have been 5 murders. Ladies and gentlemen, the law, the evidence in this case is a verdict of guilty on all 3 counts. Thank you, Judge.